Hello there, squad, and the internet in general. My name is Falcon, with a PH. Today I want to do a god concept video. I want to talk about the god, or in this case, goddess. And this is kind of near and dear to my heart because I love Ah Muzen Cab. And so there happens to be a female Mayan Goddess of Bees, Colel Cab. And I was like, okay, let's do something with this. So I wanted to make this a concept similar to Ah Muzen Cab in such a way that it complements him and even shares a few of the same kind of ideas of Ah Muzen Cab, but as a different role, almost as if Ah Muzen Cab was a different role. And in this case, we're looking at a guardian. So we have the write-up fully here, and I have some stuff I want to talk about. I'll be scrolling between the two. And please note, numbers and stuff are not like something I could do. That would require balance checks and everything. But this is kind of just, just let's see what we can think up here. The very first thing to talk about is her basic attack. Instead of doing similar to a lot of other characters where you hit them and they do deal damage, the concept behind this would be more of a you hit them and you apply a dot. So you never are going to, you'll kill someone, right? But it'll be a dot. Possibly a dot that stacks. Actually, I have a 1 by this, so let's see what I wrote. This is old. So her basic attack is a dot, and when hit, it simply refreshes the timer. Attack speed increases the speed at which the dot is applied. So basically, this works kind of similar to, this is a long time of writing this ago, so I have to think about things. If you ever played a warlock in World of Warcraft, haste basically means that your the duration between ticks, so say it ticks every 0.5 seconds for 2 seconds, right? Basically the attack speed or haste would decrease the amount of time by a certain amount. So instead of every 0.5, maybe it's every 0.4, and at some point you'll basically get an extra dot in, but since you're able to just hit them again and reapply it, maybe not as important since it does not stack, but you could keep it up for near infinite amount of time. The scaling on it, who knows? See, I have every 1 second decreases by a certain amount. Yeah, okay. So basically that's what I said. The next thing to look at is her passive, Tiny Protectors. Colel Cab gains 0.5 physical protection and magical protection for each enemy who has taken damage from her bees. This would apply to her AoE, to her dot, because I picture it as like she shoots bees at you and you see they start stinging you. That's kind of the idea behind it. Or biting you or whatever. Since Muzen Cab is technically based off of bees that don't have stingers, which is why he doesn't have a big stinger butt. Kind of like that. And essentially it stacks up to 120 stacks, but you lose half of them when you die. I think they kind of gotten away from this kind of thing with the removal of the way Heartseeker works in Doom Orb. So maybe you would change it up. Even I think Isis doesn't have it anymore. Yeah, I know she doesn't, but I believe she did a long time ago. So maybe you just drop it down to 20 stacks and you get a permanent 30%. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, so it's a decent. It's actually really good if you don't die. But if you die, you start losing all your stacks and you gotta re-get them. It needs balance. I know it's not perfect. Maybe you would go for like 0.2 instead, and so it takes 5 stacks to get it 100. Maybe you'd knock this down to 60. Something balanced. But basically she just makes herself tankier. Her next ability, actually, let's see what I wrote. Tiny Protections gives her much needed protections that she will need in her Guardian role, but gives the enemies a good counter to kill her if she is careless. Yeah, okay. From a visual standpoint, every 20 stacks she would get a swarm that flies around her. I even thought of things, I kind of remember thinking of things where it's like, well, what if like you get all these protections, right? But what if like anytime someone gets near you, you deal like tiny amounts of damage, or even like almost like a shield type thing. So you get the stacks, but if you take damage, you lose some stacks as they like kill your hives. Some sort of interaction like that would be really neat. So you're able to build up a big bunch of stacks, but they're still able to remove them without killing you. Stuff like that. Like a raw beam would obviously like murder a bunch of little bees, but or they're sacrificing themselves and that's how she's not taking the damage, stuff like that. Anyway, moving on. The next ability is Swarm Them. This is basically the bees of Ah Muzen Cab, except for the fact of instead of shooting them forward, she does like a big AoE. And bees just fly around her swarming. And this could even play off tiny protectors if they wanted to do some sort of mix between the two, you know, some actual abilities playing off each other, similar to how hives and honey works. So yeah, the Swarm Them, the debuff deals magical damage every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds, and the enemy is blinded for the duration. Ooh, maybe that's a little powerful. Maybe blinded for like a second or two, or toward the end, like the last second, they would be blinded. This is a 10-second cooldown, internal cooldown, so they can't like constantly get blinded because there are some things that work off of Swarm Them. Yeah, so that's what that is. Let's see what I wrote. Swarm Them, straightforward, AoE. This is... Apparently I got this from someone off of Reddit. This is a threefold, large AoE followed by a single target... Oh yeah, so single target debuff and a larger dot. Is there a larger dot? Am I crazy? Oh yeah, because they take instant damage every 0.5 seconds and then... Okay, yeah. It's a little weird. I liked it though. Obviously, I kept it. Hives. So similar to Ah Muzen Cab, she gets hives, but this time it grants her MP5 and damage mitigation. Possibly a little too much, again. And deals a little bit of damage every 0.5 seconds that an enemy is standing inside of a hive location. She also gets some movement speed. Oh. Actually, change that. She gets a movement speed boost when she places a hive, so the opposite of a Muzen Cab. So it's not a permanent thing. She just gets like a and runs fast, or flies fast, I guess. Next we have the let's see, did I put anything interesting about it? Hives give her much needed mitigation and mana regen. The spirit, when she uses this ability, gives... Oh yeah, you'll know that you're within the radius because you're getting hit by like a small amount of tick damage, right? And so you'll know that you need to go kill a hive. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And I might say they take 2 ticks instead of 1, like, you know, 2 auto attacks, because I always hated that about AMC, is just like, oh, 1 hit, they're dead. It's like, oh, I placed it, oh, they killed it instantly, I lost all my stuff. And then, you know, that kind of comes down to placement and everything. That's up to you. So yeah, 14-second cooldown. Yeah. Rejuvenating honey. So this is kind of the part where she gets some much needed team potential here. So Colel Cab spreads rich honey onto the battlefield for up to 4 seconds at the end. Allies hit with the honey are healed for X amount, and allies who stand in the honey are healed for a much smaller amount. With all the healing changes and stuff, this would definitely need a lot more balancing. If an enemy moves into the honey and the hive is nearby, the enemy is inflicted with the Swarm Them debuff. They take damage and they're being blinded for 1 second. So kind of straightforward. If you hit an enemy, they get a tiny amount of damage. Nothing like the other one. There's no slow, but they are blinded. So it's kind of a similar thought process. It's kind of cool, I thought. Rejuvenating honey gives Colel Cab burst healing, so a little bit of healing and a bit of sustain. She doesn't get the healing though, so that's the thing. You can't heal yourself with it. You can only heal allies with it unless you stand in it, and then you get a tiny amount of healing. Yeah, it's the spray, same mechanic as the spray for AMC. And you do get a little bit of damage from the hives, just for a little interaction between the two. And then the last thing is the ultimate, the big bad. What do we do? Well, Colel Cab is the kind of bee that places, and it might be a hornet or something, wasp, that I took the idea from. But essentially, she pulls a arachne or a Thanatos kind of ultimate where she flies up in the air, even Thor, but she can actually move, so more of those two. And she flies for I don't know how long. And she actually does very similar to Thanatos. When she lands, there's a stun. I mean, there's a big fat bee landing on you. Like, I'm picturing her as like this, I don't want to use the word because it sounds terrible, but voluptuous, like, bee. Like, she's a very royal looking queen bee. And so yeah, she flies up in the air, she lands, she stuns you. And then she injects the highest health target with eggs, which is really disgusting sounding, which after 3 seconds. The eggs deal a percentage health damage, 2 to 10, again, balance. A lot of balance, actually, depending for 3 seconds. So, yeah, 3 seconds times that, 10%. You would shred 50% of their health, so definitely needs a lot of balance, maybe every second, so you only deal 30. Anyway, and it's current health, so I guess it's not too terrible. And when the duration's up, all enemies within 90 units are inflicted with Swarm Them debuff. They take the damage and they're blinded for 2 seconds. So the variables on the blinds kind of work. Basically, I just picture it as like bees all up in your face and you can't see what you're doing, and so that's why you're blinded. Did I make any notes for this? Inject Host, it's her only real hard CC, it's true. But it's fairly powerful on its own. It's great for initiating fights. Similar to the Thanatos ult, she hovers up in the air. However, the speed would not be affected by movement speed. She lands in a similar manner, stunning and doing decent amount of damage, followed up by a percentage damage on a highest health target. Most likely a tank or a warrior in the team fight. And then it's spreading a very short duration annoying blind. And then I talk here about kind of the concepts, you know, just all kinds of stuff like that. Did I put scaling? Yeah, I did. 15% magical powers, 50%. Some of these, you know, you know, numbers are a fecal thing. Fecal? There's a word there. I'm sorry, I'm not an artist. I tried doing these before where I did art, but I think just talking about things and realizing, no, wait, that's supposed to be words. I don't know why. Yeah, and so that's her kit. That's her. My thought behind her is she would be a great complement to AMC. And I loved the idea of there being another bee god, because bees are great. I love bees. They're great for the planet. Oh, do I dare? Do I have any porn up? I hope not. Ah, no, that's not it. But this one is. So there's also one thing. If they didn't want to do a AMC, you know, another Mayan goddess, there are other gods of bees. God, I had to just double check and make sure there was no porn listed or something weird. So yeah, we have Hindu god of bees. We have whoever these guys are. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay. I mean, Melissa, that's a great name. It's given for a female. Okay. She's a goddess of bees. There's a Roman goddess of bees. You know, that's kind of cool. As you can tell, I did a little research trying to figure some things out. If we look at a Colel Cab, though, it's like, not a whole lot there. But yeah, so I thought it'd be a really interesting character, and definitely one that I like. If we take a look, though, I have a lot of these kind of things I can do. And some of these, yeah, this is funny. Like, I made this way before hi-rez even made the character. I did... no, not this one. Where is Japanese? Yes. hi-rez made. I already had both of these made, and they made the characters, which kind of, you know, was like, that sucks. Chinese, I think. Did I do any Chinese ones? No, they didn't do any of these, but I did have Guan Yu's daughter, who was a notable figure in Chinese, or, you know, obviously the mythos of Chinese, whatever. And I had her with a similar ult to what Guan Yu used to get. Oh wait, this isn't the good write-up. Oh well, doesn't matter. Except for she had a more robust kind of, almost like what's his name, Raijin, that they have, where he like chooses what he does. She had the same basic thing, and yeah, but they did it, so I might attempt to someday redo her, because I think that it was a cool. The rest of the kit was really neat. Ooh, that's on my videos. Y'all don't need to see that. But yeah, I have a lot of these little concepts that I have done over the years. Actually, Greek, Mayan. If I look at Mayan, if you look, I got Poe. I think I did a video on her, and I believe I did a video on Hunapu, which is Shibalunke's brother. But I got a few others. And if you guys are interested in this, I've got a lot of cool characters that I think would be neat to talk about and to see what they might did. Oh yeah, they didn't do Rinneton. Why did they put her in here? They didn't off though. Yeah, actually, she's a scorpion goddess. Or, no, cobra, excuse me. So yeah, that's a really cool one that they could add. And I have some cool lore. Anyway, I thought you guys might like this kind of video. Obviously, if I could do artwork and have all that stuff for you, that would be even better. Actually, I have the better one. Here it is. And see, I just kind of did these things where I was not using Microsoft Word at the time, so you could tell the corrections and stuff. But, you know, I kind of just have all these things that I think would be really neat to talk about and just discuss and see what other people think of the concepts. Obviously, I don't ever expect hi-rez to do anything that I ever put out, but it would be cool. Like, I also did Kratos, which I thought was a cool one. Aether, Elatron, which is a really kind of neat character. Bia is also one of my personal favorites because I went really hardcore on the design for this one. We might make this the next one I do if people are interested. Basically, she's one of the, like Nike, she's one of those siblings. Kratos, Bia, and Nike are all siblings. They're technically supposed to be kind of like, I think it was angels or something like that. But yeah, as you can tell, I went really in-depth about this one. She's a ADC who uses a sling, which is the closest thing to throwing a rock that I could see being visible. Viable, not visible. But I did a really cool, you know, write-up of this. I had it all printed out, made it real pretty. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. I'm realizing this is off, though. Can I just... No. Oh, I can. Oh, that's so much better. Okay. I'm very OCD like that. I apologize. Let me know what you guys think. I've kind of talked on about the videos. Again, if I could do artwork, I would, but I can't. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great day.